Hi, welcome to Angel's Nook. If you like our videos, please like, comment, and especially subscribe so you know when the next one comes out. And if you're commenting, please let us know what you like, what you're interested in, what's helping you, and what you might like to see in the future. Thanks for stopping by. We had this birthday tin of treats sent to us by Chewy for our dog Dakota, obviously on his birthday, as just a perk from them. But I really love my dog, but I don't love the look of this on my counter all the time. But the tin sealed so well and kept his treats so fresh, even more that we put in there than what was sent originally, that I thought, why not paint this thing? It works really well, it fits on the countertop nicely, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna paint this. And of course, step one is always, well, 99% of the time, degloss. And slick surfaces, like metals, need more dry time. So I already know that's a given with this, that when I put this first coat of paint on here, it's gonna need more time. Whoop. I have an idea for this, and we're just going to see if it works out. And if it doesn't, I will simply do something else. But this is Tapestry. This is the base color that I want for my plan. I'm going to hold on to that and go ahead and roll this and then get that last section. Anything that's slick, plastic, laminate, metal, requires a light touch with the roller, and you will see a fair amount of bubbles because there's no place for that air to go except under the paint. And I truly, truly, truly wish we could get totally rid of the terminology ugly coat, because does this look like an ugly coat over all those colors? And this is what the first coat of paint should look like with any of the colors. So I'm going to set this over here, hopefully out of the way. Let that dry. Get the lid done. don't normally have paint all up on my brush. I'm goofed and let that brush go down into the paint can. First roll's always just firm enough to blend the paint, but not hard like rolling on a wall. And right there, some red started showing through, so I just changed the direction that I was rolling to pull that paint right back over in the space. There you go. First coat over all those colors. We'll let it dry. Hi, we're ready for the next stage of this tin, and I experimented layering different colors of stain on a paper plate just to give me a sense of what it could look like on this. It'll look a little different on this because obviously the plate is white and this is tapestry, but it still lets me see what it would look like if I layered the colors. And what I'm choosing to do on this is I'm going to put down a layer of gray mist, and then I'm going to blend over that toasted oak. And I'm going to be using chip brushes to do that. I've left, I stirred this with plastic knives, all of these, and I've left them in here because of another project I'm going to be doing that I may want little bits of it out onto a plate to even mix some of these stains actually together to get a different tonality. Oil and oil can all be mixed together. The water-based products can all be mixed together. But don't mix water and oil. Doesn't work. I'm going to start with the gray mist. And you can see I pounced most of it off. Move this over because basically I need a plate. And then it's a light touch. I'm not putting another coat of the tapestry on here because this is covered well enough that by the time I do this technique over it, nothing is going to show from that original can. I have dusted the chip brushes across my fingers. To try to slow down any bristles coming out. But this requires very, very little stain on your brush or paint if you're using it. If you get too much on there, it starts to just paint the surface. And that is not what I want. If I'm going to do a solid coat of like the stain, I'd rather just paint. It's a lot simpler and a lot less work. I'm not going all the way up on this edge here because it's never going to show. When the lid is closed, and it's fine when the lid is open. I need just a touch more out here on the plate. thing on the lid, although I'm going to go around the edge. And then you'll see how I change that a little bit. When I go across the top, but I need some stain already on there. Now, I'm going to treat the lid as though this is wood going straight across. I'm not doing circles. I want this to be I'm pulling that up to match the grain lines that are across the top. And now what I'm going to add on top of this is some toasted oak. So I have the tapestry underneath, I've got the gray in the middle with the gray mist. And that definitely changes the tonality of this. Hopefully you can see maybe the tonality of this is definitely different. This is warmer, but it has gray underneath in it. Next, to do the same thing to this. You can layer the stains all different ways, but doing it while it's still wet allows it to get a more blended, natural tone. A good way to marry tones in your house too. If you had gray tones that you're wanting to bring some warmth of wood into, by blending the stains on pieces, whether it's furniture or cabinets, you can get those tones to play a little nicer with each other. And actually, this could look really good with just some highlights of tobacco in it. try it just on the lid first. Got that off onto the paper towel because it was getting heavier than I wanted. I like this as it is, but I like that hint of just a little bit more into it, a little bit more. Just barely any. If I had another paper plate handy, I would pounce on it. But I'm just going to do it on paper towel because it's going to do the same thing. And you work it with the dry brush until you get it the way you want it. If you layer stains on a cabinet door, you want to keep the cabinet that you did first close by as you're doing more so that you get your blending the same. Barely get in there. Okay. I like it. I could have chose to leave the can just in the finish that's on it, but I'm choosing to add a few more things to it to make it fit in a multiple amount of uses. I'm putting a stencil on the top of it, and when I stencil, first of all, I've barely got any paint on there. Then I'm going to pounce most of it off. And then I'm going to go straight down on this till I can see that it is fully filled in. And you can just grab paint off the plate if you've done it this way. I don't usually ever get bleeds, or they're super tiny when I do it this way. You want to pounce firmly, straight up and down, but you don't want to pounce hard enough that you are bleeding underneath this. You use your other hand to hold the stencil in place when it's one that you cannot tape, and that's the case on this one. So I really have to be particular about holding it. Make sure any end points in your design are actually fully there, or it will look missing. And before you lift it, before you move it, double check that everything has been filled that you want filled. And then when you lift it off, lift straight up. This bled on me with the finish down here. So actually what I'm gonna do, I don't like the look of that. I'm gonna wash it off. I didn't realize when I started to stencil this, and I should have paid attention to it. There's a little bit of ridginess on this. It's smooth to the touch, but if you actually look at it, it's not completely leveled out smooth because of the layers of stain that I did. And I should have thought about that, but I didn't. So drenching this really quickly with water like I did allowed me to completely wipe that off. Now, if you're stenciling a floor, drenching it with water and trying to rub it off really quickly may lift the base color of a tile on a floor, but it will take it off, and then what you would have to do is you would need to repaint the base color on that particular tile to get going again, which is also why I say practice stenciling on something else rather than what you actually want the stencil on to start with. So what I realize I need to do is I'm not going to be able to get the dark, sharp outline of this that I wanted. I'm going to need to do a faded look with it, which is fine, and we'll see if that works better. I'm not reusing the end that I had because I don't trust it, because we had left the mini split on and there's some drying on this end. I don't want to deal with stenciling with dry paint that's not going to absorb into there. So let's see if this works this time. I'm using a really light pounce to try to prevent that from going under again. Yeah, let's hope it does better this time. Much better. That I can live with. Normally, this product is something I don't let anywhere near my kitchen because this stuff will strip HTP. So it's not something you ever want to use to clean the cabinets. But that is one of the reasons why this is fabulous for cleaning stencils. And thank you, Anne Bonwell, for tipping me off to it, because it certainly has made cleaning stencils way, way easier. Normally you really have to give some scrub to the paint to try to get it off the stencils, especially the HTP, and that is often a way to damage a stencil even though it has to be done. If you've ever done any stenciling, you know stencils do not come clean easy that way. Always check the back of your stencil as well, because if you had bleeds, there is definitely paint on the back. But that is super fast and easy, but again, do not get power wash anywhere near your painted cabinets or surfaces. We all have different tastes and different things that we like. And you just have to play around with what's going to work best for you. And in this case, for me, this is fine as it's here. Now, I'm not pushing this all the way down because this is not dry. And one of the reasons I didn't grade here at the top is I know as tight as this lid hits and it's metal, that over time, popping it up and down, I'm going to get scratch marks here. There's just no way to avoid it. It's like taking a screwdriver to this. If you do that to any paint, it's going to do that. But I did want a solid color under here so I didn't see Chewy's happy birthday stuff showing up here. And it doesn't bother me that that's going to happen. But I wanted to be able to show you why I'm making some decisions here. I initially considered this to go around here, but it's going to hang off the bottom just a little bit, and this is going to be in my kitchen holding a variety of different things. If this were just a decor item sitting somewhere, or it was something that was not going to be opened often, this would hold up really well and would be great. If this was just, say, sitting on a shelf, sitting on a table for an accent, it would be fine. But with what I'm using it for, I have decided both to tie into the black that's up here and to give a little break in the line between the lid and the base, that I'm going to add this tiny plaid ribbon around it. And again, this could still be used as decor or for an actual storage container for cookies, for dog treats, for whatever in the kitchen. So that's what I'm going to do with this. I'm also thinking about where I want the seam of this to be. I really didn't like the idea of it being at the top of the bottom, so I'm going to start it on the side as what I think would be the least visible when I get done putting it on here. I haven't tried using the JB Weld Super Weld with cloth to something else, but I'm hoping this is going to work for me because I know how well it holds. And it needs the light to cure. is gonna do it. Won't need tons of it. I'm pulling it so it's not going to be ruffled, and that first piece is holding it tight for me so it stays flat against this. And as it dries, the splotchiness that's there should go away. And if it doesn't, I'm just going to embrace it as character. I got a puddle there, so I'm using the tip to help me not have so much of that. Get this into white for me. Again, I'm going to pull it and use the bottom of that edge of that tin lid as my guide. I thought about putting a bow of this somewhere on the edge of the lid, and I thought, no, I just want it simple. But you certainly could add a small bow somewhere on it, if that fit the decor in your home. And it helps to have the using this to have the lid in good light so that you can see where the super glue is landing. I got a little bit on my finger, which is why that was awkward to get that on there. I'll only ever put dry things in this, but this is a polyester ribbon that can actually even be used on clothing, so it is washable if I needed it to be. It wouldn't destroy it if I had to, at some point, wash it. Now we're getting close to the overlap, and wonder of wonders, this is actually matching up perfectly. So it should hide really, really well. Put a little bit of the glue onto the fabric, and I need to trim that. It's one of the nice things of this, because the thread came out of it. This glue activates with the light, so come on. I can keep from gluing my finger onto it. That would be good. You can see and hear how tight that is. And these should completely dry out and not be visible anymore. And if they're not, I can run a little bead of top coat just along that ribbon, and that will even that out if it doesn't dry out. But in the past I've had it, when it completely dries, just vanish. So there it is. The product that I used, the JB Weld Super Weld, is pretty amazing. I have had it successfully glue almost everything, including some resin figurines that I had sentimental value that no other super glue would even touch it as far as making it stick, even the ones that were supposed to be made for it. But this one with the light activation, it really does the job on so many things. It can glue wood, it can glue metals. You just saw fabric to metal. I use it all the time. In fact, it's pretty much the only super glue we keep in the house because it has so many uses and it bonds so very well. The glue spots with the ribbon did show. I had not used the glue for cloth onto metal, so now I've learned something with it. But what I did as a quick solution, because I didn't want poly of any kind on this, it's not needed. The stain has its own top coat, and the sheen on this right now is exactly what I wanted. So I took fingernail polish top coat, clear, and went on that. It's a lacquer, it'll hold up beautifully. So now this has the wood finish, it's got a decorative stencil on the top, a little touch of ribbon, and now instead of the Happy Birthday milk bone tin, there's a piece of decor that costs you nothing except your time and paints and stains you might have on the shelf from doing other projects already. So, hope you've enjoyed this, and if you did, please give us a like, and especially please subscribe. It helps us out a lot and costs you nothing. Thank you.